Welcome to Comfort Time with Aunty Yunike, where we share testimony stories. Our story for today is the social impact of withdrawal of aid by the US government to developing countries. And we have asked Mr. Nelson Banda of Men's Network to help us with this discussion. Mr. Nelson Banda, welcome to Comfort Time.
Oh, thank you so much. This is the first time that we are interacting this year.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year! Yeah. So, Mr. Banda, I recently have met a lot of men, women who have been affected, who have been impacted negatively by this decision, and I thought of calling you because mostly it's the men who are really crying, and I wanted to know, is this a good thing or is it a bad thing that we've had this withdrawal of aid?
Well, it's not a good situation because, as you can see, most African countries we are depending on foreign aid. And a good number of those countries were actually depending on the United States and the other European countries. But what has happened with those that were so much dependent on aid from USAID, I think it's very sad because almost all the activities have been suspended. You can talk about people losing job opportunities, and those people have got families, not only their family, but even families that they are supporting back home. It means they have lost out. And in those areas where they are coming from, where they are supporting, they also other people that are benefiting from the kind of aid that was being sent by the US agencies. So a good example is the health aspect. A lot of communities are doing community work for good institutions or civil society organizations that are working directly in the community promoting health, maternal health in a number of situations. So what has happened to those communities? It means the ordinary people that do not know where that money is coming from has lost out. They'll be asking a lot of questions to the people that they are interacting with in those communities. What has happened to this? What has happened? Where has the money gone? Of course, it's not a good situation because it was supporting a lot of communities, and the people may not have an idea of what policies and this and that the American government wants to implement in order to withdraw those funds. Yeah.
Don't you think this will teach us developing countries a lesson on being so dependent on aid? Isn't it about time that we learned to stand on our own 2 feet? I know it's a bitter pill to swallow. I have met people who are actually in depression right now. Men with families, school-going children, they're not able to pay. They are wondering how they'll be able to pay the school fees. Their lives now will change completely, and they don't know how to handle this. So don't you think this is partially our fault that we depended so much and never planned on this ever coming to an end?
Well, I think it's a fault of everyone, those that were depending on that money and those that were giving. Because at some point, I think those that were giving that money, they should have put mechanism to say at a particular time things might change. So they should have built systems, capacity buildings, so that when the given that support, they also build their capacity to
stand on their own
to stand
feet.
on their own. So you find that it's a two-way traffic. Yeah, so both never saw what has happened, but it's a lesson for future, collaboration if other countries may want to do the same thing. Yeah. Because it can happen again, and what will happen? It means the entire, social system will collapse to a point where
it can't be salvaged.
Yeah.
Because the problem in Africa is that like right now the people who are working with US agencies are the people that in society we looked up to be people who are getting at least more money than most. And as our society is, our culture is, we look up to those people, and when they lose their job, it's not only them who are going to suffer. They have their whole clan behind them. This one depended on that same person for shoes for their child, this one for mini meal, this one. So when that person, woman or man, is not able to have an income, then it means it's a chain reaction. So many people have been negatively impacted. So many people are going to suffer. And like you said, we didn't see this coming. It's a learning curve. But for now, how can we help people? Because I've already heard of someone who attempted, I don't know if they managed to commit suicide, because when they heard that, they were in debt, they had so much on their plate, and they couldn't just imagine how they were going to survive without a job. So they resorted to suicide. And I don't think that's the only case we are getting. I'm sure now as it sinks in, as they start feeling the full impact of this withdrawal, we expect more things to happen. So how can we help the communities? How can we help those who are coming from such work to encourage them and make them see that there's life after the withdrawal of this, the aid?
It's a very big problem, and if you look at a lot of countries, they do not have social support systems at community level. So that is one of the problems that you might end up finding to be another challenge. Two, if I may talk about our own experience here in Zambia, we've got quite good pieces of land. Yeah, so it's always best to, when you are still working, you invest in some of the, agriculture or other opportunities. So that
to have another source of income. I think depending on one income has proved to be not a very good thing.
So we've got so much land that a lot of people have not taken up to invest in land agriculture activities in rural areas where they're coming from. So you find that once they start working in town, they actually forget
that they even have. In fact, some of them, when you ask them, where do you come from, they don't even know their villages.
They don't even know.
So they can't go to, they will say, okay, I'm in Senga, they speak in Senga. From where? From Petauke. Okay, which is your village in Petauke? They can't even go and show you, they can't even go there. So now, when you find yourself in this situation, you go to the village, where are you going to go?
Where are you going to come from? Because that's where your parents came from.
I think this is a wake-up call. I'm always impressed by our friends from Nigeria. You find they work in town, but they have beautiful houses in the village.
Yes.
And during the holidays, they pack up and say, we're going to the village.
They don't go to Bahamas.
No. I think we have a lot to learn from them. I think it would be nice to do the same, because if you're always in the village, you know your village, when such things happen, you've got an alternative.
You simply, if you have lost your job, you simply pack
and say, I'm going to the village, and there you start farming on a larger scale. life is cheaper there, so you won't need to start committing suicide.
Yeah.
So I think we really have a lot to learn.
And we also, this is going to give the government a lot of work, because a good number of people have lost in terms of employment. It means that the government has to look for additional money to supplement the efforts of the aid that was coming. For instance, the health sector. Some of the health, some parts of our health sector was supported by the funding that has been withdrawn. So where is the government going to get the additional support to mitigate what has come through? So it means more work for the government in terms of looking for resources, and also helping those people that have lost out in terms of opportunities. So it means the government has got more work to do. And if you look at our income resource base as a country, I think it's very limited. We may not even raise money out of the tax in order to meet the cost of running the health institutions. Some of the activities that have been affected, it means our tax resource base may not even be adequate to meet. We're talking about some of the medical personnel that have been on certain projects, the equipment, the ambulance, the drugs, and so forth. So we must also begin to prepare ourselves to say, with the money that has gone, we might see a reduction or an effect in the health service delivered.
And when you talk of health, now I'm thinking of how dependent most of our people are on ARVs.
Yeah.
And those we've been getting for free.
Yeah, for free.
So now if that funding is withdrawn, it means that we now have to pay.
Yeah.
And those drugs are not cheap. So if we have to pay and we don't have the money, what does that mean?
Yeah. It's a lot of work, because our industry, our manufacturing industry, is not capable of absorbing everyone into the employment sectors. So it means finding other ways of raising money, because if you look at our industrial base, our universities are graduating more than maybe 3,000, I can use that as an example, students every year, and not all of them are absorbed by the industry. So already that is a problem. Two, we have our limited agriculture base. A lot of young people that graduate from school, from universities, do not go into the agriculture to begin agriculture activities. Okay, so if we put all that together, it becomes more of a challenge, because everyone that graduates from higher learning institutions, they want to work in an office, they don't want to work in the agriculture sector. So you find that we are all putting pressure on the government.
And now that is not available.
Yeah, now that is not available. It's also, we need to begin to look ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, challenge our own education system, so that every one of us who graduates, we can work on our own and employ other people as well. Okay, and then if we have such kind of a situation, it will be very easy to go around it, because everyone is doing something. There's a tax that is collected and supporting the health sector. Yeah.
No, we really need that, because when it comes to health, I was thinking about it, and if you remember way back before we had these ARVs, people were dying left, right, and center. The ARVs have done so much. They've prolonged people's lives. People are living longer than even those who are not positive because of that, and we are very grateful for that. Now I can't imagine that being withdrawn and going back to a time when people are not supported, where people are just dying because there's no help, because not everybody will be able to afford people will end up saying, I don't have to, and they may start going to traditional medicines, some of which may not be healthy. And I also think when your health is concerned, what happened to the Sondash?
The Sondash formula.
Formula. I think this is time for even the government to relook at traditional medicines. You know, we lived before without these things, and our people survived. So maybe it's time to start supporting traditional medicines and finding out how you can help to ensure that they are safer for the people, because some of them, the problem we have may be dosage, maybe how they are kept. Sometimes they're kept in a place where they start getting moldy and therefore inviting other problems. But if the government came in and helped those people to do it in a cleaner way,
especially now that we've lost out, and our own indigenous former minister, Honorable Sondash, developed something that the government should take keen interest
to find out, work with the people who worked with him and see how can we develop this. We can actually be the ones that helps the other people in the entire Africa.
So it was a good innovation which the government pays attention to it. I think it can save a lot of people.
It will be cheaper.
It will be cheaper because it will be produced here. But the personnel who developed it here, and why not take pride as Zambians? Say this is our very own.
And we could share it with other African countries. You know.
I think it's something that we need to really take up.
We need to. I think it would be nice to. I hope they are listening to our discussion. And they should take it up and see how it can be revived.
It's a very good innovation. It requires, political will. Whether one was a former, I think
that shouldn't matter. We should look at the health of the people and not so much at who is who. So I pray that this will bring the conversation back. It's time to start having the conversation on that. Okay, no, unless you have something else that you wish to share on the subject.
Well, I think it's a wake-up call for us as a nation, because 64 years after independence.
Can you imagine? We're still crying.
Yeah, we're still crying. We've been interacting with people to support our development activities. But we need to begin to get out of that box, so that we can also, if Zambia is doing very well, we can also support other countries. After all, Zambia is known to have helped other
many countries in so many fields.
In so many fields, using our copper resources.
Not only that, even just our knowledge. I always remember South Africa saying the women's movement were who we are because of Zambia. You trained us, you helped us in this. Now they're even bigger than us. So in many fields, Zambia has been the initiator. So why not be the initiator in medicine as well? So let's come up with this traditional medicines to support our health sector. And who knows where it will go. I think it's a wake-up call not only for Zambia, but for the entire Africa. It's time we stood on our own feet and helped the Western world instead. Let us be the ones who give them aid, not the way it is. We shouldn't be crying. So thank you so much. I know the ones who are mostly impacted are the men. And to this I say, men, be strong. There's life after a job. It's just a matter of accepting that this has happened. So what's the way forward? And to the women out there, I'm saying this is the time for you to show your love and support to your men. If it's the man who is working, there are also women who are breadwinners, who are the ones who have been affected, who have been negatively impacted. I said to the men also, support your women. Whoever has found themselves in this position needs the support of the other. And if you were on their own, you're not married or you're not with a partner, it's not the end of the world. You can still rise, just breathe, start thinking, okay, what next? You'll be amazed how you can get up from there and be even better than you were before. So it's not the end of the world. It's a learning curve for all of us. So thank you so much, Mr. Banda, for coming.
It's always good to be here.
Thank you.
To talk about experiences, especially in the work that we do. We have these conversations with men, and some of these things are things that pop up in the community.
Yes, yes. No, thank you so much. So Comfort Time continues. I pray that everybody watching has already subscribed, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up, because thumbs up, likes as they call them, allow YouTube to publicize the information for more people to learn. So thank you so much. Comfort Time continues. Stay blessed. See you in the next video.